everyone, welcome back to our second episode of Behind the Brand, where we take you back to behind the scenes of Sands of India and tell you about more about our brand and who we are and what we do. So here again, I'm joined with the amazing Neetu ma'am. Hi, Shruti. Hi. And today we're going to be speaking about the name of our brand, Sands of India, and what does it actually mean and the story behind it. So, hi, ma'am. Welcome to the show again. So, where were you when the idea of the name first appeared? Was it like a moment, a mood, or what was the story behind it essentially?
So, Shruti, for quite some time, it has been on my mind that India doesn't have one really global brand. You have Spain, you have Sweden, you also have Uniqlo from Japan. Now, those countries are fairly small, they don't have their own manufacturing. But in spite of all of that, they've been able to connect to the global audience and create a large brand. So that was the core of wanting to do a global brand, a truly global brand out of India. And then as we spoke, trying to arrive at the niche, a lot of people actually came back, and this is not just in India, but outside, saying that if you attach the name India, like if you put India in the name, then people might not think of it as great quality product. I see. Yeah, and that hit me, actually hurt me. And then the ego came forward and said that, India has to be part of that name. So it was a lot of sort of deliberating on what should be the name, talking to people. And then when we thought of sands of India, now just think of the grains of sand, right? And at that point of time, the designer who was associated actually called out that each grain should talk about how different India is and how different it is from what it was, right? So, as we represent New India, Sands of India talks about the depth of the country, the new India that we represent, and that every part of India has different resources, a different culture, like we started doing scarves, and that was coming from the silk was coming from Varanasi and stuff like that. So it also signifies the depth of Indian culture and how diversified geographically and culturally the country is.
Okay, so the term sands essentially means uh, like the grains of
Ye-
sand from every
Yeah.
country,
Yes.
city in India.
Yes.
So, how does the name Sands of India reflect on the culture, the soul, the identity of the brand that you've created here?
Yeah. So we've actually created an Asian brand, right? And an Asian brand with the name Sands of India. So I what what identity that we were trying to put forward was the identity of New India, the new Indian woman, and the deep rooted culture of the country. It does not, while it has a lot of fusion of all the Asian countries in the products that we showcase, this that you're wearing, I mean, it's really the embroideries that have come from India. Our t-shirts, a lot of them are Japan inspired. But it also talks about this woman in today's India who is very strong, who is super intelligent. Like generally, India is intelligent, but this woman who comes forward strong, intelligent, with a strong identity, and doesn't want to be a part of the mass, needs stresses upon her own individuality.
Yeah.
Right. Also, the idea of Asian culture is also Asia as a country, as a continent now is being shown to the world. Whether you see all the culture of Korea that is coming through, what Japan is talking, how China is getting stronger, how India is getting stronger, and never before anybody has spoken Asia as a whole, right? So through the Sands of India, we're trying to bring cultures closer. India is getting represented as New India. We're trying to tell the world that Asia in itself is very deep culture, deep art, and that is what we bring to you.
Wonderful. Actually, I do notice that in a lot of our products, like what I'm wearing today, it's there's a part of it which is a little ethnic. You would say like the embroidery, but the silhouette is something that you would see in like the streets of Korea or the streets of Japan, where it's a little more high fashion, but also everyday. But then it has like this Indian soul to it. So I see it when I look through the brand's products one by one. So was the name always clear to you, or did it develop over a very long period of time? Like, what was your struggle to coming up with name? Because I know naming a brand is one of the hardest things to do. Is like that one name that's like sets the tone, because that's your identity. That's your how you communicate with the audience, how they remember you is through the name. So I know it's a very difficult process. So was that like a long drawn process, or did it just instantly click, or what's the story behind naming it?
So, long run process, not specifically of naming it, but trying to arrive at the foundation of the brand. And we said Asian fashion. So we spent a lot of time in Japan. We spoke with people, and as I said, some people said do not put. Our idea was to, get into Japan, US, and India first. That was the strategy. And so some of these people, both from US, Japan, specify that if you call it Sands of India, it will not be taken as a strong quality product, etc. So with that, that struck with me, and I was like, no, we will call it Sands because it's a beautiful name, right? It's in itself, the name talks a lot. It's not a very cool name, like all the brands sort of have it, and so that was a question that was coming again and again. But again, the depth of it was so strong that we decided to stay with it and not deliberate much.
That makes sense. That does make sense. So, when the audience hears Hands of India, what are like some keywords that you want them to immediately associate the name to if they don't know what the brand is about? So, what do you think are those keywords that maybe they'll associate it with, or you want them to associate?
Yeah, pride,
Mm-hmm.
culture,
Definitely.
right? Aesthetics, and the intelligence of this modern Indian woman.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because don't identify this as a snake charmer country, I mean, don't identify it with that thing in your mind.
No,
By thinking that the quality might not be the best. How about the aesthetics? Is it going to be super modern? It is. It is very contemporary. It is very trendy, but it has art on it, like what you're wearing, right? So every piece you pick up, yeah, you actually pick the art as well. And you remember that, where it comes from. So
so we're trying to kind of disconnect from the stereotypes and the
yeah.
connotations that people think of what is India. But we're trying to show them that it's more than just, something that you saw online or like a meme that you saw online. We're like a thoughtful, intelligent, powerful country, and we have so much to give, and we have so much to give to the world. And they can definitely see that through our brand.
Absolutely. And not just tech. You can take aesthetics from India. India produces to the world, but our designers are amazing. You look what is happening with the D2C brands. You look at how the fusion is coming up. You look how much the ramp takes inspiration
From India. I definitely see that.
I mean, the global ramp takes so much inspiration from India, but it never gets called out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So India is very deep. I mean, if you look at the fashion way long back of, what the kings and the queens, India always used to be way more fashionable
No, definitely.
in colors, in aesthetics, and all of that, right? So that is what you should think of it, in not like, a country that doesn't give you quality, a country with a lot of just people and
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely very true. So, who are our listeners? So, who are the people who would connect with the brand? Like you said, the smart women of India, you know, um, like who else? Who else is part of that target audience?
the target audience starts with a newly working Gen Z, that is you, and goes all the way to the women, the professional women, the intelligent women, people who travel, people who understand cultures, right? Who want to wear something which is differentiated, not follow the mass. So that's where I'm saying the intellectual woman of today. right? From a college pass out or, the last few years of college till, a working woman.
Wow. So I'm definitely sure we have a lot of clientele like that who buy from us very regularly. So thank you so much, Neetu ma'am, for giving us your time for this podcast. And we'll see you in the next episode and just stay tuned for more.
Yeah, absolutely. See you then.